Nikolai Gogol's The Inspector General is a satirical play that exposes the corruption, hypocrisy, and absurdity of bureaucratic systems in 19th century Russia. Initially published in 1836, the play follows a case of mistaken identity that leads a town's officials to reveal their true, corrupt natures. Act 1. The play begins in a small provincial town in Russia, where the corrupt mayor and his officials learn from a letter that an incognito government inspector will soon arrive to evaluate their administration. Terrified that their misdeeds, ranging from bribery to incompetence, will be exposed, they scramble to cover up their corruption and make the town appear respectable. Meanwhile, Ivan Alexandrovich Klestakov, a low-ranking and debt-ridden civil servant from St. Petersburg, is staying in a local inn while traveling. He has no money and is mistaken for the feared government inspector by the town's officials due to his refined manners and mysterious presence. The officials quickly assume that Klestakov is investigating them, and eager to win his favor, they begin showering him with hospitality and bribes. Act 2. Although Klestakov initially does not understand why the town's leaders are treating him with such reverence, he soon realizes their misconception and decides to take advantage of the situation. Enjoying the power and wealth suddenly bestowed upon him, he plays along with their assumptions, indulging in fine dining, receiving large sums of money, and reveling in their desperate attempts to please him. The mayor, in particular, tries to win Klestakov's goodwill, offering him extravagant gifts and even attempting to arrange a marriage between Klestakov and his daughter, Maria Antonovna. Klestakov, intoxicated by the sudden turn of fortune, exaggerates his own importance, claiming to have close relationships with powerful figures in St. Petersburg. The town officials, blinded by fear and self-interest, believe his every word. Act 3. As Klestakov enjoys his newfound influence, he continues to accept bribes from nearly every official in town. Each of them attempts to secure his favor and prevent him from reporting their misdeeds to the government. Klestakov, meanwhile, writes a letter to his friend in St. Petersburg, humorously detailing how he has fooled an entire town and taken advantage of their foolishness. The town's officials, desperate to please Klestakov, go to increasingly absurd lengths, showing the depths of their corruption and incompetence. Klestakov's engagement to Maria is announced, and he revels in the excitement, enjoying the high regard in which he is falsely held. However, he soon decides to leave, fearing that the situation might spiral out of his control. Before departing, he takes one last round of bribes and heads off, leaving the town in a state of celebration and confusion. Act 4. After Klestakov leaves, some townspeople begin to question the situation. The postmaster, curious about Klestakov's identity, intercepts and opens his letter to a friend in St. Petersburg. The letter humorously details how he has deceived the entire town, mocking the officials for their gullibility and corruption. As the officials read the letter, panic and horror set in. They realize an impostor has tricked them and are now vulnerable to real consequences. The mayor, furious and humiliated, blames everyone else while desperately trying to find a way out of the impending disaster. Act 5. Just as the mayor and officials are reeling from the revelation, an officer enters with an official announcement. The real government inspector has arrived and is waiting to see them immediately. The play ends in stunned silence, leaving the fate of the corrupt officials open-ended, but implying their inevitable downfall. Commentary. The Inspector General is a brilliant satire that exposes the widespread corruption and incompetence of bureaucratic systems. Gogol masterfully uses farce and irony to highlight human greed, cowardice, and self-deception. The town officials' blind panic and willingness to bribe and deceive an imagined inspector reveal their deep-seated corruption, making them the actual targets of ridicule. Klestakov, despite being a mere opportunist, becomes a mirror reflecting their own dishonesty and moral decay. The play's open-ended conclusion leaves audiences with a stark message. Corruption inevitably leads to downfall. Gogol's work remains a timeless critique of political and social corruption, resonating across cultures and historical periods. The Inspector General remains one of the most potent and humorous examinations of human folly in literature.